Our friend Gerard Way is in the studio from the band My Chemical Romance. Of course, their new album is just in stores as of last week called The Black Parade is Dead, which is a live album, and it also has a DVD that features 2 shows of My Chem on the last tour. I guess one in Hoboken, New Jersey at a tiny little club, and then the Mexico City one. That was the last date of the tour, right?
Actually, no, but that was the last performance of the Black Parade.
Oh, no one has ever been more happy than you at the end to go, the Black Parade is
dead. Yeah. That's how obviously that's where
man, you're excited.
I was excited about that. Well,
but what does that mean that it's the last performance? You'll still do some of those songs are among the most popular songs, right?
Yeah, but we won't perform as Black Parade with the until we hit maybe, 50 and need the money.
Sure, I got you. I understand.
How many? I just wanted to ask one related question to that, and that is, how long did you go without washing those jackets? What was your record?
A long time.
Really?
It would get to this point where Nelty, who was helping us out with wardrobe, our friend, eventually she said, you have to wash these. Like, these are disgusting.
It's getting gross.
That's what I thought. I was watching the Mexico City one. I was like, if it were me, I would just, I don't know, I'd go 3-4 shows.
Well, you know what happens? You start to get superstitious about your clothes, and when you wash them and get them back, they feel different. Like, something's not right.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not lazy, it's superstitious?
It's both.
Huh.
It's lazy, but it's superstitious. Okay. You start to feel like they're going to wash off the luck,
Like an athlete, you have, like, your favorite socks that you... Or whatever it is.
Yeah, a lot of us have things like that. Socks, underwear, T-shirts. We have certain T-shirts that we'll only wear.
Now, are the jackets, are those being retired as well or no?
Yeah, it's hanging in my closet at home. That's up in there.
Wash now?
I think it smells really bad. Me and my wife have this costume closet with all of our stage clothes, and it's the worst smelling closet in the house.
Excellent.
It's gotta be.
It's unbelievable. It's just
it doesn't have to be that way. You know that, right?
I know.
Okay.
Well, you have to dry clean a lot of that.
The CD, DVD is in stores now, but the reason Gerard is here today is because the Dark Horse comic collection of his Umbrella Academy, issues 1 through 6, they're collected together in a box set and available for sale now. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a trade. I think they're called trades now. Graphic novel. Yeah, it's collected, yeah.
Is this a limited edition thing that people need to go out and get immediately, or are there only a certain number of them? Okay, so it's available for everyone.
These as long as people want to read them. There is a limited edition one coming out in September, October, November. Can't remember.
We like that. We like that. We feel like pressured into buying the same thing 5 times.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, this one's got commentary.
What's the genesis of the Umbrella Academy? How far back into your youth does the story go?
Not far back into my youth, as far as it was inspired by things like Chris Claremont's X-Men, but then as I got older and I was in art school, I was into guys like David Lynch and Genet films and stuff. So I was like, well, what if you had one of these guys directing like an X-Men movie, And but the genesis really happened when I was on Taste of Chaos. And,
really? Wow.
Yeah.
That was 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, and it was like the first tour, one of the first tours where I was clean, so I had all this free time, and when you get clean, you have all this nervous energy, and you get up at like 9 a.m.
Right.
And you're like, wow, I only slept 4 hours, but I'm wide awake. What's happening?
What do I do?
Yeah, what do I do with myself now? So I just started drawing, and then, I was like, I'm going to do superheroes. F it. I'll figure it out.
But they're not really superheroes, are they?
They're not. And that's
they're kind of anti-superheroes, but...
It's totally not a superhero book. That's what's cool about it. I mean, if anything, it could be called like a postmodern superhero story, but they're very far from being superheroes. Yeah.
And there's 6 of them now. And are you done? You writing more?
Actually, I was just in the break we were talking. I stayed up last night and wrote issue 2 of series 2, which comes out November. I don't know.
Sometime in November.
Comes out November.
You sounded so sure up until the date.
Yeah.
So sure.
I think it's the 28th, maybe.
Is the Umbrella Academy something that you have an end date for in your mind, or is it, as far as you can see right now, just something you're going to continue to do till further notice?
Yeah, I have an end story in mind, but I don't have an end date. I know how it ends, but the cool thing is it changes a lot. And even series 2 was supposed to be like series 6 or something down the line, but we bumped it up because we wanted to do it so much. And
do you have other story ideas for other?
Yeah, I
comics?
do actually. I just. The other night I got real inspired. I ended up staying up till 6 a.m. again, too, because I came up with this crazy, thing about a guy who's a planet killer or something.
A planet killer?
Yes.
Okay. That's the thing about comics. You can't really unveil them slowly. You got to put it out there so that there's
right
a story.
Away.
There's an actual story there. Tell us about Comic-Con. Bean was mentioning you're going to be down there?
Yeah, I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday. Friday, I think I have a lot of press. And then Friday night is the Eisner Awards, which I'm very excited about. And Umbrella Academy is up for 2 of those, I believe. And
very cool.
I think Gabrielle, the artist, is up for one himself. I'm very excited for him. And then on Saturday, I have a panel with Grant Morrison. I don't know the time on that. And then I don't know much.
You're just like us.
That's 2:15 on Saturday is what time you're
just enough information to hang yourself. That's
exactly.
That's the way we are.
Yes, it's a panel, and then after that is the signing from 4 to 5:30. I knew that.
4 to 5:30.
Have you ever been to Comic-Con as a fan, Gerard?
When I was younger, I went to New York Comic-Con a lot. I loved it. My dad would take me and Mikey. It was at the Javits Center, and we just loved it. And then they stopped doing them. And so I've been actually going to San Diego Comic-Con this is my 3rd year in a row, but I've never seen the con. I've only been backstage, kind of, so to speak, at the Dark Horse booth with the pipe and drape. I've never seen the convention. I don't know.
Is this a thrill for you to be there as a comic book artist?
It really is. That was a dream of mine, to be there as a professional and to have a book that's actually accepted and people really love, and they got kind of over the whole also happens to be in a band thing. I mean, that's just really exciting and people take it seriously.
How many comic books do you have to sell in 2008 America to be considered successful?
I was just talking about this.
I have no idea what comic books sell.
I have no idea either. And the greatest thing about my editor, Scott, is that we don't pay attention to the numbers at all. Like, it's really cool.
We had no our bosses to do that.
Yeah, we would have known if it was a failure, but we knew we found out it was a hit, and I think we paid attention to the first issue numbers, which were really big for a comic. And the trade apparently is really big too, but we don't really pay attention. We just do it.
They keep letting you make more, so that means obviously they think there's an audience. Now, the last question I have, because we're almost out of time, Gerard, is that it only makes sense that somebody is going to talk to you about making the Umbrella Academy into a movie at some point, I would imagine, right?
Right. Well, Mike Richardson, who runs Dark Horse, I think he was giving some interview. I'm trying to remember. He was at a premiere, and he had mentioned the Umbrella Academy Universal wanting to make it into a film, and there has been talks of that. So,
what do you think about that?
I think, there's a great author who, like, somebody said to him once, do you think, how do you feel about your books getting ruined? He's like, they're not ruined, they're still on the shelf. So the way I kind of feel is like the comic's the comic. If they make a great movie, that's great too, but it's not.
They make a bad movie, the comic's still there.
The comic's still there. That's kind of how I feel. It's flattering and it's really cool, and I'd love to see these characters come to life, though.
And I hope Scarlett Johansson and Penelope Cruz are in it and they kiss.
Me too. I'm in on that.
If I can throw that out there, maybe some casting suggestions. I don't know if you've got any girls kissing in your story, but maybe you should write that in for the movie.
He's writing in number 2. And one last question for me. Yeah. Is it true that I was reading an article about you that you pitched Cartoon Network something called The Breakfast Monkey?
I did, yeah. That really happened.
I love that.
And that show would have been awesome, too.
The Breakfast Monkey.
It was awesome. He talked like Bjork. He didn't even look like a monkey. He just he was Scandinavian, and he didn't even have like fingers. He looked like a cross between a monkey and Pillsbury Doughboy. And he had.
Well, why would they say no to that?
Because they had just actually signed the guys that did Aqua Teen Hunger Force. They said we already have a food show. So
really, that was their answer.
That was their answer. We already have a food show, and Aqua Teen ended up being one of my favorite shows of all time. So. It worked out. Everything worked out.
Breakfast Monkey's not going to be at the big screen or anything, though.
I don't think so. I think I've left him behind.
Although, if you ever have a spin-off band, you got to call it the Breakfast Monkey. It's a great name for a band. All right. The Black Parade is Dead is the new CD, DVD in stores everywhere for My Chemical Romance, and the Dark Horse comic collection is called The Umbrella Academy. It's episodes or issues or volumes 1 through 6 in stores or online now. And Gerard, of course, will be at Comic-Con, as you heard him describing, and that's coming up on the weekend of the 25th, I guess, which is very close to here.
It is.
All right, Gerard, great to catch up with you, my friend. Welcome to Los Angeles. I hope we'll be seeing more of you, dude.
You will. Thanks.
Go back to bed.
I will.
The Kevin and Bean Show.